service, and we'll follow up with another person for fire operations on the ground, and then we'll from there we'll branch off the question.
No.
Chief, you ready to go?
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is John, John Hodgens, Hodgens, Chief of Department. Last night, we received a call around 6 o'clock for children trapped in a storm sewer. We didn't know exactly where they were, and it took a while to figure out how to find them. But everybody worked really well together from the fire department and the police department. Our fire alarm dispatchers were on the phone with the children for over a half an hour trying to decipher where they were. We believe they were in the tunnel based on the information for about an hour. Upon our arrival, we stayed in contact. The children were speaking to the dispatchers, and the dispatchers were speaking to us here at the scene. So we were just trying to pinpoint where they were. It was a little bit challenging, but our FDNY dispatchers did a great job of continuing to communicate and try to pinpoint exactly where they were. And we were able to decipher that they entered right here inside Clove Lakes into what looks like a tunnel area. They crawled in there, and they were in there crawling for at least 15 minutes, and they became disoriented. We found, when we knew that that's where they entered, that's where our specialized units entered. This would be considered a confined space rescue. I'm going to let them get into the details of that. Overall, you know, it was a very successful operation. We walked along the route that we knew the sewer traveled and opened up manhole covers searching for the children. At the end of the line, they had traveled up to 1,300 feet, which is quite a way, and wound up the road up here by the zoo. So we have the audio from the discussion between them and the dispatcher. Amazing that the cell phone worked in the tunnel, and that was a key component of us finding them. They were able to give us good information. Everybody, it was a professional job. Everybody worked hard. They used specialized equipment. I can't say enough about you know, everybody that operated here. When we did finally get them out, it took us 30 minutes after we arrived to find them and get them out of the hole. We had to have them assessed. Our EMS units brought them to the hospital. And all in all, a very successful operation with a happy outcome. So I'm going to pass it over to the Lieutenant of Rescue 5, John Drew, who could go through some of the more specifics.
Good morning. My name is John Drew. I'm a Lieutenant of Rescue 5, JOHN, DREW. We received the ticket slightly after a roll call for children in a drainage tunnel by the cemetery. They transmitted the confined space matrix that gives us a ton of help and other resources. We arrived on scene. Confirming where the children were was a little difficult, but we got to the mouth of the tunnel. It was about a 40-inch opening, and their jackets and school bags were at the opening. So that was confirmation of where they started. I had two of my members get dressed and ready to operate. So we used our metering devices just to check the atmosphere, because that could be an issue in that situation, dealing with in confined spaces. So Donnie Campbell and Kevon Harper, we attached a safety rope to them, as well as a confined space mask as a precaution, and they transitioned into the tunnel. They made it roughly 300 feet to one of the manholes that the other members were opening up. Made it to metered that manhole as well, and then Donnie transitioned another few hundred feet, roughly 500 feet, until I believe they found the children about 1,500 feet away. Yeah, it was a successful operation. We used all the resources on scene, the trucks, the squad. It wasn't really a complex removal. The children were ambulatory, so they were able to transition up a ladder. But you know, we were ready to operate and deal with whatever situation was handed to us. So.
Marlon? We'll pass off to Marlon.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marlon. I'm assigned to Bureau of Communications in Staten Island Borough. Marlon Haxieliu, M-A-R-L-I-N-D, H-A-X-H-I-L-I-U. We got a call around 18. Oh, sorry. Marlon Haxieliu, M-A-R-L-I-N-D, H-A-X-H-I-A-L-I-U. At 18:02, we received a phone call about some kids being in a tunnel. With the knowledge of the area and the training, having been raised in the area, I knew exactly where they were. We tried to calm them down as much as we could, tracing their steps from the zoo that they stated they were first, where they walked to. They stated they walked the cemetery, and we wanted to trace exactly the steps so we could follow them. We came together as a platform, everybody working together, and the field units, and we relayed this information bit by bit to the field units and the battalion chief and division, and we were able to get them. That's basically it. In other words, so.
Good afternoon. Chief Louis Basso, L-U-I-S-B-A-S-S-O, EMS Division 5, Staten Island. At approximately 6:08 p.m., we were assigned. In about 4 minutes, at 6:12 p.m., the first EMS unit arrived on the scene. In 32 minutes after that, 5 kids were removed to Richmond University Medical Center and 1 firefighter which was injured in the process. There were 2 ambulances on the scene and a lieutenant. Kids did not complain of any injuries. They were just taken for evaluation because they were wet and cold.
Firefighter John Lonecker, L-O-E-N-N-E-C-K-E-R. I work in Ladder Company 7-9 in West Brighton. So when we arrived, we knew that they were in the tube because dispatch confirmed that. They were on the phone with them. And then once we found their backpacks, we knew where they entered into the tube. So Rescue 5 went into the tunnel to operate in the confined space, where my company operated in the street. We followed the drain up Martling towards Clove, thinking they were in the vicinity of where they entered, but we were unsure how far into they advanced into the storm drain. So we kept opening the tubes and proceeding up. As we got closer to Clove Road, we could hear their voices a little bit, but we couldn't make out what they were saying, but we knew they were in there. So the last drain I opened on Clove is when I could hear them clearly and what they were saying. They said there was 5 of them in the sewer, and they said they were all okay. So we metered the hole. I went down, and I saw them about 40 feet down in the tube. I crawled in. They met me halfway, and basically I just assisted them out of the tube and up and out of the manhole.
They're here for this.
We all were just kind of advancing up to the direction we knew they were heading, and we would just open manhole after manhole. I just happened to be the one who arrived at that manhole, and when I opened it and heard them, and I dropped my light down, I asked if they could see it. They saw it, and I knew they were close, so that's basically how I was the one to go down.
Yeah, the opening where they entered was roughly 40 inches, and as the guys from Rescue 5 transitioned through the drainage pipe, it reduced to about 30 and change inches. All right. No, that's why we utilized our smaller confined space mask, so they were able to get in there. It was tough for them, but they were able to get in there. we actually went down into the manhole a little while ago just to check it out, and it's definitely going to be nerve-wracking for the children once they made it to that point to transition back. It was definitely yeah.
They were very nervous. They were in this tube for maybe an hour, and they were more relieved, I think, to know that they were out. I tried to ensure them they're going to be out soon. The opening's right there. Just follow me, and we'll get out. They were just more nervous. I think they got to the point where they were nervous if they were ever going to find their way out. There were 5 boys. They said one was injured. I heard that from the street, so when I went down, the injury was minor. They were crawling on their knees for over an hour or about an hour, so his knees were hurting, and it was dark down there. They had one cell phone light, and that was it. I wasn't too worried about that. I just wanted to get them out, and then by the time I got a hold, they were on the ambulance and on their way to go get checked out. Yes, this is the first time. Yes. Not as far as I know.
So we have our air monitoring devices. That's going to test for like atmospheric hazards. This is our confined space mask. So this is our confined space mask. So if they did transition through and they got a hit on the meters, then they could switch over to air and breathe safely.
Yep.
And then we always want to have them on some sort of a rope as a safety, that if we have to retrieve them or send more members in, we have a point of reference. Okay. Yeah, well, so the first entry guy, he was pretty limited the area that he had to work and the equipment that he could bring, so all he brought was a Halligan. All right? Just a forcible entry tool that we use for various regular handheld light. It was dark in there, so we needed lighting. Different metering devices. We always want to back up our metering. So we had 2 members go in with a meter each just to back it up and ensure that they were safe. And a safety line that they're going to be attached to. So if we have to retrieve them for whatever reason, we can retrieve them. Okay?
How much rope do you have there?
So initially we sent them in on 300 feet of rope. We ran to the end of the rope egg, and we had to attach a secondary rope 600 feet to assure their safety.
What was your concern about these kids stuck in there based on all the hazards that you mentioned?
The condition of the kids, if we were going to have to set up another evolution to remove the kids. But luckily they were ambulatory, so they were able to climb the ladder themselves. But, we had the capability of, setting up other equipment to retrieve them out of the manhole if necessary.
On a personal level, though, were you like, oh my gosh, I'm a parent, this is scary?
I'm sure they were scared for themselves and getting in trouble as well, because.
Anything else?
I just wanted to make a demo of the mask.
That's what I'm asking. They probably opened up close to 10 manholes, progressing, to the point of removal, I would say, right? Right, guys? Yeah.
Everybody okay? Just want to maybe come up front, turn your back to them. This gesture is what you're asking.
So normally on our apparatus we have 45-minute cylinders. This is a 30-minute cylinder, just to reduce the profile of the rescuer, and it'll give it enough time to get out if necessary in an emergency.